Hello kids, how are you doing? Today we're going to be seeing fractions. The first thing we're going to see is what's a fraction? You know, you have seen that in your book. I'm sure you have. So today we're going to be reviewing what's a fraction. Let's begin with this. The fractions can be used to describe how equal parts are related to a whole. Yeah, but what is a whole? Well, a whole is something that is complete and not missing any part. Think about a pie or a pizza. When you first bake it, it is complete because you haven't divided or sliced it yet. Then you're going to slice it, right? And if those parts are equal, those are fractions. Let's look at these images. First, we have a chocolate pie. You see, yummy, the chocolate part. And you have this white cake. It's covered with fondant, maybe. Are they divided? Yes, they are. They slice the pies and they are divided into parts, smaller parts of the same whole. It was a whole pie and then they cut it or they divided it into smaller parts. But what is the difference between these two desserts? Let's check this. Now, what do we do with this? You see, wholes can be divided into parts in any way we need. The person who baked this pie could divide it into 2 parts or 3 parts or 15 parts. Okay? So we can just divide it the way we want or the way we need. But in order for them to be fraction, for each part of this pie to be considered a fraction in math, they have to be equal parts, just like the chocolate pie. What happens with the white cake? It is divided, yeah, but are the parts equal? No, they're not. It has a white circle in the middle that is not equal than the others. You see? So, this chocolate pie is divided into fractions because they are equal parts. But this white cake is not considered fractions because their parts are not equal. Remember, if we have equal parts, then it is fractions. If the parts are unequal, they are not fractions. Okay? Let's check this one. We have a blue rectangle here. Are those parts equal? Yes, they are. It's divided into 2 equal parts. What happened with this light blue rectangle? It is divided into 2 parts, but those parts are not equal, so they are not fractions. The same with the other figures. We have a circle here and it's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. And each part is equal to the next. But then what about this pink circle? It is divided into 3 parts, but those parts are not equal. So these are not fractions because they are not equal. You have to be careful with this when you are representing fractions in your book or your notebook. Now, how do we represent fractions with numbers? We saw how we can represent fractions with diagrams or drawings. But how do we do that with numbers? Because at the end, this is math and you have to do things with numbers. Fractions are represented by two numbers. And it is one number on top of the other, and they have a little line in the middle, as you can see here. Now, the number on top is called numerator, and it represents how many equal parts you have or you are using in this moment. And then you have the denominator, and it represents how many equal parts is the whole divided into. So take a look at of this pizza here. It was a whole pizza. It was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. It was divided originally into 4 parts. That's why my denominator is 4. But somebody ate one piece or one slice. And now we only have 3 parts of the 4 parts we had originally. So 3 out of 4 or 3 of 4 parts. Okay? And you are supposed to read it 3/4. But you can also say 3 out of 4. That would be okay. Remember, the number on top is called numerator. It will represent how many parts you have at the moment or you're using. And the denominator represents the total amount of parts the whole was divided into originally. Let's see another example. I have here a triangle. The triangle is divided into 2 equal parts, but only one part is colored. How many parts we have? Or how many parts did the whole was divided into? Was divided into 2 parts. Since only one part is colored, then I say I have 1 part out of 2. And that will say 1/2. That's how you read that, 1/2, or 1 out of 2. My circle is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 parts. But only 6 parts are colored. You see? So how many parts I have? It was originally divided into. Was originally divided into 12 parts. But I'm only using 6. So my fraction is going to be 6 out of 12. Remember the little line in the middle of the 2 numbers. That's the fraction line. Now I have a rectangle here. It is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. But I'm only using 1 part. So I have 1/4 or 1 out of 4. See another. Have another circle here. And the circle was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. I'm only using 1 part out of 5. 1/5 or 1 out of 5. Sorry. And then my other, this is a square that was divided into 4 parts. 2 out of 4 because I'm only coloring 2 parts out of the 4 parts I have. And my last circle is divided also into 4 parts. But I'm only using 3. 3 out of 4. You see? Okay, so you can divide any shape or any object into fractions as long as every part of the whole is equal to the next. And then when you want to represent those fractions in numbers, then you're gonna put the denominator, which is the total amount of parts you divided your whole into. The total amount of parts. That's the denominator or the number that goes below. And the numerator, that's the number that goes in top, is the amount of parts that you're using right now. But I have another question. What if I divide the whole, but I still have all the parts? You know, it's not like I'm using some parts and not the others. I'm using all of them. I still have all of them. Like this. This thing, this circle was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. And all of them are colored. So I still have all of them. Well, it will still be a whole because I still have all of it. It is a whole. And both the numerator and the denominator are going to be the same number. So I still have 5 out of 5 that is equal to 1 because it's one whole or one thing, one pizza, complete. Yeah, it is divided into parts, but it hasn't lose any part yet. You still have all of them. So that's still a whole. So whenever you have numerator and denominator that are the same number, that equals 1. A one thing, one whole. Now you know. This is what you learned today. Fractions are equal parts from a whole. If the parts are not equal, they are not fractions. They're just parts. To represent fractions, we use two numbers separated by a line. Remember? Then the upper number is called numerator and it represents the amount of parts that we are using at the moment. And the lower number is called denominator and it represents the total of parts or the total amount of parts the whole was divided into originally. And that's all for today. I hope you like this video and it's useful for you. If you have any question, ask your teacher. See you later, alligator. Thank you.